The fallow field of night to night. Can you feel that soft transition? The way the world outside has hushed itself down to a low, continuous hum. It's exactly at this time, when the external demands fade, that our inner landscape often seems to grow brighter, illuminated by the low, gentle lamp of late evening. Close your eyes softly and imagine your mind not as a busy, overwhelming junction, but as a field, a vast, dark, fallow field, waiting patiently under the starlight. Perhaps, as you look out across this inner acreage, you notice things scattered here and there. A little clump of dry grass, that was the worry you carried all afternoon. A small, jagged stone, that's the sharp word someone said, or the one you wish you hadn't. They aren't threats, you see. They are simply dormant seeds in the dark, pieces of the day that settled where they landed when you released your hold. There is no need to rush out and gather them up aggressively. Not now. The first, most important act is simply to observe them with kindness. You're not here to judge the clutter, only to acknowledge its presence, like a lighthouse keeper observing the shifting, gentle darkness around the tower. Imagine yourself walking slowly along the edge of this field. Your steps are silent, leaving no trace in the soft mental soil. You see that scattered worry, perhaps a concern about tomorrow's task, or a conversation waiting to happen. Instead of grabbing it and shaking it, simply acknowledge, "Ah, there you are, little tomorrow thought. I see you rested here." When we label these thoughts as chaos or clutter, we give them sharp edges and a restless energy. But look closely now. Under this quiet, nocturnal sky, they lose their urgency. They are merely shapes. Do you feel how much softer they become when you refuse to engage with their noise and simply treat them like shapes in the moonlight? This field is not messy, it is rich. It holds the residue of effort, the fine dust of experience, and the quiet promise of rest. The very things that feel scattered are proof that you lived a full day, that you cared, that you engaged with the flow of life. Allow your breathing to deepen and soften as you stand at the edge of this fallow field. Inhale the cool, clean air of the present moment. Exhale any tension clinging to your chest. With every slow, quiet breath, you are not chasing the thoughts. You are establishing the quiet foundation beneath them. You are saying without words, "My ground is steady, my field is waiting. I will look upon my thoughts with gentle acceptance tonight." This is the first step toward organization, a spacious, soft acknowledgement that nothing needs to be solved right now. Everything is simply waiting for the kind hand of dawn or the subtle shift into dream. For now, let the scattered seeds remain, resting gently in the quiet dust of your inner landscape. They have found their place for the night, and in seeing them, you have found yours. The scribe of the soft light. Now that we have walked the perimeter of that field and observed the scattered pieces without judgment, a new stillness is arriving. It is the stillness required for a much gentler act, the act of recognition, the gentle work of the scribe. Imagine a small, intimate room within that quiet mental landscape. It is warm, lit only by a single, soft lamp, a steady golden glow that doesn't blind, but merely illuminates the nearest surfaces. You are sitting at a simple wooden table here, and you hold a feather-light quill. This is the office of your inner awareness, where thoughts come to be recognized, not wrestled with. As a thought drifts in from the fallow field, perhaps it is an anxious pulse about something uncertain or a vague feeling of forgotten obligation, you don't try to dismiss it. Instead, you gently invite it closer, allowing it to rest in the soft light of the lamp. This is the process of labeling and naming, but without the pressure of definition. You are not writing a legal document, you are writing a quiet poem. If the thought is that blurry anxiety, you simply whisper its name on the parchment. Ah, uncertainty's shadow. Not my massive unsolvable problem, but just a soft name, like identifying a particular kind of evening cloud. Notice how the moment you assign a gentle label to a thought, it loses its shapeless, blurry power. Thoughts that are unnamed feel vast and demanding, like the ocean fog rolling in. But once you can write down, this is the memory of the long-ago summer, or this is the fleeting need to send that one email, it shrinks to a manageable size, the size of the soft letters on the page. Do you feel the soothing rhythm of this naming? It is almost like a quiet lullaby for the restless mind. We are taking the formless energy of worry and giving it a delicate structure so it can rest. The aim is not to solve the equation, but merely to read the variables clearly. Sometimes the feeling that arrives is so subtle, so interwoven with the day's events, that it resists naming. That's all right. You simply write, a quiet hum of the day's echo. The pen moves slowly, deliberately, giving you time to breathe between each stroke, between each recognition. This gentle identification is the key to creating distance. You are not the thought, you are the scribe who acknowledges the thought. You are the quiet observer, merely documenting what passes through the light. And once the name is softly inscribed, whether it's anticipation, or a small regret, or just fatigue, you can gently set that piece of parchment aside, allowing the mental archive to begin its quiet arrangement. Rest in this soft glow for a moment. Feel the gentle weight of the quill in your hand, and the peaceful satisfaction of bringing light and form to the invisible movements of your inner world. This is not organizing chaos. This is gently defining peace. The weight of unfinished sentences. As we continue our slow, peaceful journey through your inner landscape, let's turn our attention to the soft heaviness that gathers in the corners of your awareness. It's not the sharp anxiety we just named, but something quieter, the weight of unfinished sentences. These aren't just half-completed tasks on a list, they are the whispers of obligations left dangling. The unreturned phone call that settled in your throat, the book you intended to finish, the kind word you meant to offer but kept silent. They collect in a gentle lump, creating a slight drag, a subtle resistance to the ease of sleep. Imagine each of these unfinished sentences, the tasks, the thoughts, the moments of potential connection, as a small, smooth pebble. Right now, perhaps, they feel like they are still clenched tightly in your hand, making your palm ache, demanding constant attention, worrying that if you let go, they will simply vanish into nothingness. But tonight, we are learning to trust the archive of rest. Take a slow, deep inhale, and on the exhale, gently unclench that inner hand. We are going to build a special, quiet place for these pebbles, the pending file. It is not a place of immediate action. It is a space of graceful deferral. One by one, recognize those unfinished sentences. That email to Sarah, the half-written idea for a project, the apology I haven't said. Whisper their names softly. And with that acknowledgement, imagine placing the corresponding pebble into a beautiful, deep, velvet-lined box. This box doesn't judge the content. It simply holds it. Do you feel the subtle, immediate relief? The crucial shift is this. You are not abandoning the tasks. You are simply changing their location. You are moving them from the fragile holding of your immediate attention to the safe, secure container of your future self's trust. The unfinished things needed to know they wouldn't be forgotten. Now they know. They are safely filed away, ready to be rediscovered in the daylight, revitalized by the deep rest you are about to receive. They are no longer your burden to carry in the dark. This act of releasing the burden of incompleteness brings an extraordinary lightness, a freedom in your shoulders and along your brow. The mind loves completion, but when completion isn't possible now, the next best thing is safe. Storage. Allow the silence of the room to affirm the quiet click of that velvet box closing. It's a sound of peace, a sound of gentle boundaries. The work is not gone, but its demand is suspended. Let your mind settle into the wonderful, expansive sense of having space again. Space usually occupied by the faint static of incomplete obligations. Breathe in the lightness. Breathe out the last vestiges of needing to do anything tonight. The sentences are safely stored. The mind is now free to write its own soft, meandering dream story. The library of old seasons. We move deeper now, past the desk of the scribe and the velvet box of unfinished duties. Can you feel the air change here? It becomes cooler, stiller, carrying the subtle, sweet scent of old paper and sun-dried lavender. This is your library of old seasons. It is a place built of smooth, deep stone, with high, narrow windows where the light falls in long, pale columns, illuminating only the dust motes, dancing in the quiet. This is where your memories live, not as loud voices, but as artifacts, scrolls of understanding, small, polished stones of long-ago feelings. Sometimes, when a thought of the past surfaces during the day, it comes rushing in with all its original noise, a sharp regret, a wave of nostalgia, a mistake played back too loud. It can feel urgent, as if it demands you go back and re-edit the scene. But look now, as you walk down these silent, high-arched aisles. Every one of those moments, when placed in this library, becomes a contained season. They are not active events, they are simply history. Reach out, if you feel comfortable, and touch one of those scrolls. Perhaps it is the memory of a choice you made years ago that you still occasionally question. Feel its texture. It is firm, steady, and utterly complete. The paper has already absorbed the ink. The story has already been written. The subtle, quiet philosophy of this library is this: you cannot edit a season once it has passed, but you can choose how you store the record. Instead of storing that scroll with a knot of anxiety tied around it, we will gently, tonight, store it with reverence. We recognize that this event, this choice, this feeling, however complex, was a necessary part of the architecture of who you are right now, resting in this quiet moment. It is a piece of foundation, not a flaw in the current ceiling. For every thought of the past that tries to make you restless, the should-haves and the what-ifs whisper to it that its time for performance is over. It is now time for its silent archiving. We are placing these records on the highest, most respectful shelf, recognizing them as valuable, completed volumes. Do you feel how the worry fades when you acknowledge the finality of the past? It is a deep peace that comes from this gentle acceptance. The burden of rewriting history lifts, and you are left only with the quiet wisdom of having lived through it. Let your mind float now, watching those memory scrolls settle silently onto their shelves, their edges softened by the passage of time and the gentle light of your current awareness. This library is safe, it is complete, and it is ready for your deep, restful silence. The current of the small stream. We step away from the deep, still stone of the library and find ourselves beside a small, very quiet stream running softly through the mental landscape. This stream represents the immediate current of your life, the things that feel immediate, present-day concerns, the ripples of the now. Perhaps as you look into the water, you see a leaf floating by. That's a minor task that must be done first thing in the morning. Or a reflection of a cloud. That's a small interaction you anticipate having with someone later. These are not the heavy, unresolved debts of the past or the vast landscapes of the future. They are the light, quick movements of the day's flow. The temptation when we see these immediate concerns is to try and stop the stream. We want to grab the leaf, analyze the reflection, and ensure everything is perfectly controlled before it floats away. But look at the water. It resists control. Trying to stop it only makes the water rush and churn, creating turbulence in your mind. Tonight, the deepest calming lesson comes from simply trusting the current. We are going to use the act of placing these immediate thoughts delicately in the now box. This box isn't for solving the problem, it is for containment and trust. You are simply assuring your mind that these small concerns have a place and that the natural, gentle momentum of life will carry them when the time is right. For instance, if a thought surfaces, "I must remember to check that appointment details," instead of mentally rehearsing the process, you simply place the thought on a smooth, flat stone by the stream. You acknowledge it, you see its shape, and you allow the small stream's quiet energy to flow past it. Do you notice the difference between holding a thought and placing a thought? Holding is active, tense, and requires energy throughout the night. Placing is passive, restful, and an act of soft delegation to the morning light. This is the beauty of grounding present anxieties. We recognize that the moment for action is asleep, and the moment for rest is here. The small, quiet stream of your immediate life does not need fixing tonight. It only needs permission to flow gently on its own. Allow your breath to synchronize with the soft sound of the stream trickling over smooth pebbles. Inhale the presence of the water. Exhale the need to interfere with its path. Understand that tomorrow's self, the rested, replenished, clear self, will be far better equipped to deal with those leaves and reflections. For now, just listen to the water. It is moving, it is steady, and it is carrying everything, exactly where it needs to go. Your only task tonight is to be the peaceful observer on the bank, the cabinet of untouched dreams. Having calmed the immediate current, let's turn our quiet attention to the direction that stream is headed, the gentle horizon of your future. But we are not going to look at the demanding, rigid plans. We are going to look at the cabinet of untouched dreams. Imagine finding a tall, elegant wooden cabinet in a very quiet, sun-drenched corner of your mind. It smells faintly of sandalwood and possibility. This is where your deepest, most cherished aspirations reside, the soft plans and hopes that require time, patience, and nourishment, not urgency. Sometimes when we think of the future, we immediately feel the push of a looming deadline or the anxiety of a massive undertaking. We see the sharp edges of demanding expectations. But tonight, open this quiet cabinet. Look at the contents. They are not to-do lists. They are sketches, quiet, maps, and small folded letters addressed to your future self. Here you see the aspiration to learn a new skill, the quiet hope for a meaningful connection, the dream of a peaceful space. When a thought about the future surfaces now, perhaps a big goal that seems impossibly far away, instead of feeling the pressure, simply pick up the blueprint of that desire. See its beauty, its inherent possibility, and then gently recognize a vital difference. Aspiration is quiet possibility. Expectation is pressing urgency. We are placing the possibility back into the cabinet, recognizing that dreams need to simmer slowly, not be boiled instantly. They need the deep, uninterrupted quiet of your rest to grow roots, not the stressed urgency of the late hour to take flight. To organize these thoughts is to gently distinguish hopeful vision from demanding expectation. The vision is a beautiful image you can hold without strain. The expectation is a heavy clock you try to carry. Tonight we put down the clock. This cabinet reminds you that not every desire is a command. Some things are simply lovely intentions, waiting for the gentle warmth of the daylight and the gradual unfolding of time. They are safe here. They are untouched, which means they are still perfectly pliable, ready to be shaped slowly by a well-rested heart. Breathe in deeply, inhaling the quiet scent of sandalwood and future potential. Exhale the need to control the pace of those dreams. Trust that the most beautiful growths are often the slowest. Your ambitions are tucked away now, safe, and whispering a soft promise of tomorrow. The silence of the empty shelf. We have walked the field, named the forms, stored the burdens, archived the past, trusted the stream, and admired the future dreams. Now there is a quiet space opening up, a corner of the archive that is deliberately left untouched. Imagine a shelf here, long and smooth, perhaps made of pale, quiet, driftwood. It is absolutely bare. This is not the space reserved for things to be stored later. This is the space dedicated to intentional emptiness. In the business of our days, we are constantly encouraged to fill every moment, every mental corner, every schedule slot. The quiet organizing we've been doing has been about finding a place for everything so that the remaining space can be truly empty. Look at that bare shelf. Does it feel frightening, or does it feel like a profound sigh? When you consciously create this negative space, you are giving your mind permission to stop processing. You are acknowledging the importance of not filling every single corner. The mind, like a deep well, needs time for the surface to become still and reflective again, free from the constant disturbance of lowering and raising buckets of thought. Tonight, dedicate this empty shelf to pure, quiet rest. Any stray thought that tries to settle here, a random worry, a looping song, lyric, a sudden memory, we will gently, softly tell it, "No, darling thought, this space is not for you. This space is for silence." The silence of this empty shelf is a soothing force itself. It's the quiet gap between the notes in music that makes the melody beautiful. It's the deep, starless space between galaxies. You are not resting after organization. You are resting by allowing the space to exist. Breathe in the quiet. Exhale the need to be productive, even in your own mind. Let the emptiness feel expansive and warm, like a soft, comforting blanket pulled up to your chin. There is nothing missing here. There is only the peaceful acknowledgement that sometimes the greatest contribution to wellness is the choice not to engage, the choice not to think, the simple, profound choice to let silence be your host. Rest in this lovely, intentional void. You have done the quiet work. Now, allow the quietness to do its slow, deep work on you. The final locking of the hearth. As we move away from the light of the archive, a deep, gentle warmth begins to surround you. This feeling is not external. It is the lovely, quiet heat generated by deep internal order. You've closed the books, shuttered the windows of the busy day, and now you stand before the hearth at the center of your being. The fire of the day's energy has burned down to a bed of soft, glowing embers. There is no crackling noise, no wild flame, just a steady, pervasive heat that permeates everything with comfort. This is the moment of final settling. Feel that deep peace in your shoulders. The mind is no longer wrestling with scattered pieces. It is organized, coherent, and therefore profoundly restful. The worries are safely archived, ready for the morning light. The quiet wisdom of your body knows the work is done. Imagine yourself taking a final quiet breath, gathering up any remaining restlessness, and gently breathing it out toward those embers. See the last. Wisps of thought vanish instantly in the warmth, leaving only the slow, steady glow. The final locking of the hearth is not a harsh action. It is simply the slow, deep surrender to the truth of this quiet state. You are gently drawing a velvet curtain across the mantelpiece of your awareness. It is a deep, comforting velvet, the color of midnight sky, heavy and sound dampening. Listen to your breath now. It is slowing, growing deeper, more rhythmic, a perfect silent pulse marking the boundary between wakefulness and sleep. Feel the beautiful heaviness arriving in your limbs. Your legs are rooted and still. Your arms are soft and without tension. Your eyelids are feeling that deep, lovely weight of rest. The thoughts, having found their proper place, are receding into the deep, quiet architecture of the self, waiting patiently for the sun. You are not chasing sleep. You are simply allowing the natural descent to happen, carried downward by the soothing weight of the peaceful order you have established. Trust the archive, trust the dark, trust the warmth that remains. You are safe, you are settled. Everything that needed to be held is held. Everything that needed to be released is gone. Let the warm, deep velvet of sleep now embrace you fully, softly, carrying you into the longest, deepest peace. Good night, sweet dreams, and may your rest be the quiet reward of your beautifully settled heart.